Hi, my name is Kenneth Paolinelli. I'm with the Health Science and Medical Technology pathway. I'm doing pathway B, objective B. Students will be able to define words from roots, prefixes, and suffixes. So all medical terms are built from Greek and Latin origin. They're put together from words that can be translated literally to find their meaning. There's four basic word parts, okay? The first one is the word root, and this usually is the fundamental meaning of the word. A prefix, which is at the beginning of a word to modify the meaning. A suffix, which is usually at the end of the word, okay, to modify the meaning. And then a combining vowel is usually put in on longer words to ease pronunciation. When looking at word roots, I have two examples here. We have arthritis and hepatitis. To be able to identify the word root, I am going to make a slash in between the word root, and the suffix, and I will label those. So I have a word root and a suffix on each side. We know that Arthur and hepat are the core of these words, and we will be able to figure out the meaning based off of these two things. So a suffix is usually at the end of a word, and we'll slash this again to identify our suffixes. In this case, ick is pertaining to, and itis is inflammation. So those are placed at the end of the word to modify the meaning of the word. Okay, is a prefix. It's usually placed at the beginning of the word to help modify the meaning. So in this case, I'm able to slash these words. Okay, and in this case, sub, okay, would be under, and intra would be within. So the fourth part is a combining vowel, okay, and this is just simply used to ease pronunciation of words. Usually it's an O, but it can sometimes change. It's placed to connect two word roots, okay. It's also placed to connect a word root and a suffix, but it is not. It's not placed to connect a prefix and a word root. Example here, we have the term osteoarthritis. So we're breaking this down into word parts. Okay, so here is my suffix. Here's a word root. Here is a word root, and this is my combining vowel CV. Okay, it is usually placed to connect two word roots. In this term, okay, it's connecting a word root and a suffix, and that's why the combining vowel goes in there. It makes it easily to pronounce, or makes it easy to pronounce, and it eases pronunciation of the word. So we have osteoarthritis and arthropathy. So on combining vowels, there are four rules or guidelines that we follow. So the first one is when connecting a word root and a suffix, okay, a combining vowel is used if the suffix does not begin with a vowel. So in this instance, our suffix does not begin with a vowel, so we use the combining vowel. Guideline 2 is when connecting a word root and a suffix, the combining vowel is usually not used if the suffix begins with a vowel. So for instance, if this began with a vowel, we would not use a combining vowel in that instance, okay? Guideline 3 is when connecting two word roots, a combining vowel is usually used even if vowels are present at the junction. So we have a vowel here at this junction and a vowel here. We still use a combining vowel even though there is a vowel at the junction of the combining of those terms. And then the final guideline is when connecting a prefix and a word root, a combining vowel is never used. So to put everything together, in this scenario, I would give the students a word part list, a prefix list, and a suffix list, and also a combining vowel that we're going to use, okay? So the combining vowel would be O for this assignment. And this is before they have any knowledge of, the actual medical terms. This is just teaching them how they're built from the word parts of Greek and Latin terms. So up here I have my word roots. I'll give them the roots, the definition, the prefixes, and the definition, and then the suffixes we'll be using. So for the first term they would look at would be a simple one, okay? It would be a simple word root, okay, with a suffix. So I would have them break this down, okay, into word root and suffix, and we teach them to define the word from back to front. So this term translated literally from the word parts that we see here would be, they would go to this and they'd say, okay, my suffix is itis and my word root is Arthur. I know that this is joint and inflammation. So to translate this literally, this would be inflammation of the joint. And that's how you define that word simply from word parts. The second one would be with a prefix. So the first thing we'd do is we'd separate the prefix, word root, and suffix. So the first thing we do is write P for prefix, word root for our word root, and then S for suffix. And then we can translate that literally to find the meaning. So we go from back to front to define it. So this is pertaining to under the liver. And that's how we would define that directly. So if we go to our chart here, ick is pertaining to, we start there. Remember we always define them back to front. So we start at the back, go to the front, pertaining to, sub. Okay, we find that is under. So under, and then hepat, we go to our word roots, it means liver. So pertaining to, under the liver. Okay, and then the final one is one using a combining vowel, osteoarthritis. So we see here, we're going to start slashing through, and we know we have a word root here, a combining vowel here, a word root here, and a suffix here. Now, the important thing to note for the kids is even though there are two vowels at the junction, we still use a combining vowel when we're combining two word roots. So to find the answer to this, or to define this term literally from the word parts, we start at the back again, and it is inflammation of the bone and joint. So again, we start from the back. We know itis. We go to our table. Itis is inflammation. Next term, oste. We find oste. This means bone. Combining vowel and the joint. Arthur. We know Arthur is joint at this point. Now this gives them the basis to be able to build any terms that are built from word parts and define them literally and find their meaning from those word parts in any of the chapters that we do in this book and moving forward. So this is one of our base lessons that we teach.